Yes, indeed.
Merry New Year.
Merry New Year to everybody out there. Merry New Year's.
Yeah, your camera looking real clean over there. Like you almost look AI-ish.
I almost feel AI-ish.
That's it.
Well, it should be. I had the camera for like 4 years. I'm finally using it. So,
Nice.
I figure episode 100. we in the building. Episode 100, yo.
Damn.
100 episodes, man. Today, think about it. The second Saturday, of the year.
Of course.
And we at 100, man. We gotta get where's our stuff, man? We getting all that. We want all of them. Yep, we want that. Yep, I would want that. Let's see. You pick one. All right, there you go. I'm doing all of them. I'm gonna throughout the episode. I'm just gonna talk about the 100. 100 episodes, bro. Yeah, now that's the best part. The laughter. 100 joints, man.
That's crazy though.
Yeah. That's nuts.
26.
2026 is here, man.
2 + 2 + 6 is what?
10.
And at 100th episode. So I'll fall back from there.
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay. You warming up. All right. That's cool. So shout out to everybody that's in the room, on the YouTube, on the Facebook, on the LinkedIn. I think I'm on it. I put it on X. Why not?
Why not?
Because we're starting episode 100. What are we gonna start with? What you think? you know. Hey, look, I'm resolved. I'm cool about it. All right, so we can touch about.
I ain't even get there yet.
Yeah, we'll say that.
A few minutes before you start rolling into that one. Right?
No, I'm not, man. Listen, man.
Having an entrepreneurial night last night. My brain was clicking. So I didn't go to sleep until the work was done.
I got you. Well, I did. I went to sleep.
I know you did. I see you looking bright-eyed, bushy-tailing the whole night.
Got the hair cut and everything. I see. If I had the cut yesterday, no, it might have been worse. Yeah. So, but we. Hey, look. The fact that I'm smiling and laughing is a very good thing, considering I wasn't smiling and laughing yesterday. But I guess we'll start there, but not the way those that know might think. This is a great time. This is a wonderful time of the year. This is the new year in business, in finance, in every, time for you to reset. So, I'm not a big resolution person. I do more resolutions around my birthday, actually. But it's objectives, man. It's seeing what's going on. It's time to, let's. I mean, it's like people have a renewing mentality. You can, if you choose to. If you want to be the same old you stay the same.
You think so, or is it a part of the hype?
No, it's for real. It's real. If you choose to. See, that's the big thing that people don't choose to. You want to see the same old person you were 10 days ago, 11 days ago, fair enough. That's you. Mm-hmm. But it's renewing because, look, we all face the financial clock. Like that's the real calendar. It's a financial calendar. Your wages start over. Your bills, like everything starts over. So if you choose to not want to be there, and see, that's the thing. I don't exist in the hype cycle because I'm getting more and more off the grid. I can't say I'm off the grid. I'm sitting here in front of a camera talking, but yeah, what I'm paying attention to is less and less grittier. So I'm excited. We had a couple of bumps through the holidays. Thank you, Dr. Janine. And congratulations to you on your grand opening yesterday for your clinic. It's well, I guess we should put the comment up there. Like, yo, who's he talking to? He's bugging. 100 episodes. He's talking to himself.
I'm
like,
here. Good.
Yeah. So Dr. Janine just opened a new clinic.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. And you know, trying to help the people, man. That's what I'm saying. That's why we get into the season, and I'm telling you, it's the every year I say this. No sucker season. Mm-hmm. All right. Oh yeah. Nah, I didn't forget you. Come on. we were gonna have a special time for you. V-Dove. That's my cousin. Like she's in our season. No suckers, man. No suckers right now, bro. No suckers. We ain't there. She, you know, I think she's stateside right now. She's so like sucker free. She might just be anywhere at any moment. My cousin. So that's where you want to be, where you just make moves, you know. So
sure.
But no, it's a time of renewing, man. This is a chance. You know, I think is kind of like whatever the equivalent of the circadian rhythm is, the time is what we got going on now. At least I do. You take part of it if you want to, but me, it's like brand new, you know. And so, like I said, we had a couple of bumps, couple of administrative bumps. We'll call it client relationship bumps. You know, over the last couple of weeks. But what we've done is like we always do. We look at them and we make changes so that particular bump doesn't happen again, and reduces the likelihood of that bump happening. So, you know, I'm not, you know, I'm telling you, I'm good. I'm good. I mean, you know, even Petty P is chilling today. Petty Pendergrass is chilling right now at 11:08. Petty Pendergrass is good.
What do we want to talk about with the listener?
Well, we were talking about what we were discussing in the off week. What we were talking about, professional terrorism. Was that it, or? I'm saying that's what we were talking about. We'll stick with the gratitudes. Good morning and congratulations from the bride. That's what I told her. I'm calling her now, my bride. That's it. That's what I'm going with that. There we go. So,
so I think we were talking about blame shifting, weaponized complaints, and entitlement behavior when it comes to customers.
Wow. How appropriate is that? I'll let you start with that. I'm just saying that. Wow. You know, sometimes I gotta listen to our own show. I think you'd be like, wow, just like you know, you know, I mean, just as a sidebar, you know, I wonder how many people go through this. Like, you have sage advice for somebody, and it's not that you don't listen to yourself, but you just don't, you know, and then you look back, you like, wait a minute, I'm telling everybody else this, and I just forgot to tell me this. That's an example of it right there. But yes, I yield back. Go ahead, you know.
Nah, I mean, you know, those are just the 3 touch points. You know, we keep it. We you know, we got to talk through situations, and then we on the other side, you know, we make sure that we give enlightenment to the folks so they can apply it within themselves and their own businesses. You know how this goes.
Yes, it does.
You know, behind the scenes, you know, we throw water balloons. It had moving targets to let the steam off, you know.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But the blame shifting is real. Weaponized complaints is real. Entitlement behavior is real, for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I'm with you, son.
it's the makeup of programming, environment, culture, belief, and who people are. However, that must not deter you from providing the best possible service you need to, but make sure you identify. These are lessons in identifying, I think, at every level, every granular level of who actually the client customer is. Right. And identifying who are customers and who are clients. As you so eloquently put it, most customers, the word customers is transactional. They buy and they come back hopefully, and they buy again, and they come back hopefully, right? Having a client is more relationship based, it's more advisory based. Having a client relationship is almost like having a group of friends that you meet up with and you just talk about things. It's not planned. The only thing is planned is that you meet up. The conversations are not really planned. And however, someone drops a seed and it grows, and there is some fruit on that seed that probably everybody can either benefit from, or it's a thought twister. There's something challenging because of beliefs of other people. You know what I mean? Other views, other perspectives. You know what I'm saying?
And see, I see Miss Cooper out there. She like tuned in. Yo, you gotta love it.
Yeah, she's flowing with me right now.
Yeah, hey, listen.
Yeah.
You gotta love when your people know you. That's a beautiful thing.
This is just it's all about growth, man. That's all it is. So, nothing new. We come on the show and we we talk about things and we joke about things, but when we get to the business, we get to the business. But this is just a part of what being a business owner is going through the bumps in the road, going through the ripples in the ocean. I mean, it's just part for the course, part of the game. Chalk it up. It's not necessarily saying that people are, well, there are some evil people in the world. However, we're not there. We're just talking about just, weaponized complaints, entitlement behavior, and blame shifting. Those are really what we're talking about. It's real.
Yeah. I say professional terrorism. Yeah, that's okay. I got you. I can carry it. It's cool. This is cool. Everything's cool. So yeah, this one thing that we talked about is in the community, often I don't know if you in the New York area, if you forget, there was a soup retailer called Sims. And they said, your educated customer is your best consumer. I believe that's how it went. But it was something along those lines. And whatever you're doing, whatever you're selling or you're doing, the more that your target customer or client understands about you and what you sell, that's where you really can create the value relationship. So right now we talk about value, and I say we, just in generally speaking, in the business world, the big thing is value. Oh, value this, value that. And it just becomes another one of those buzzwords that people just pass by. Oh, there's not a value for this, it's not a yet. Well, value is subjective, number one. And number two, if a person doesn't respect what you do, they can never value you. So that's number one. Like, it's impossible. If they don't respect what you do. And if they don't respect you individually, they can never value you. So now the only thing that's going to come back is going to be the dollar amount that you're charging. And, sometimes that happens. And that's a customer, But that's an ignorant customer, which is the worst. The worst is an ignorant customer. And so, you know, and there's a lot of ignorant people that are running organizations. They're educated, you know, got a lot of education, but they're ignorant. So when trying to do business with these people and you're honest, you know, you do what you do, you put things in, you know, you put time into what you do, you will never jive with the ignorant customer or client. You never will. Just won't happen. Because they're too ignorant to even understand what you know. So, my man Marcus Fryer.
Yeah.
Happy New Year. So, and we face them. If you're in business, hey, even in life, people you come across that they just can't get it. They can't. You're on another plane from them. You're on another plane. It's just how it is. You're on another plane, and they can't get it. So it makes it very difficult to do business with people like this because you can't build a relationship with them. Right. I mean, it can't happen. So, you know, we've been away from that for a while. I'm saying it classy. I'm getting up, you know, our own FCC is hitting me up, but don't worry about that. I'm just saying that we've had a couple situations by which we've grown from that, you know, people, you know, it's tough doing business with them. So you have to, I think the big thing, the real subject for us is how do you deal with that as the business owner or the person in the center? How do you deal with that? How do you deal with somebody? Because we all end up in those situations. And how do you pivot from that? How do you get from somebody that, for instance, in a restaurant, they come, eat the entire meal, then say they didn't like it, they don't want to pay for it? How do you deal with that? And, you know, what we've talked about and what we're learning and trying to share with people is that the initial one, you got to get out the situation as fast as possible. And then you know, then you build a process, you evaluate your process to the best you can and make a tweak to reduce the likelihood of that happening again. And that's where things happen. You know, you have to do that. So we're in the middle of said situation, very fresh of said situation. So when we were discussing the topic a week or so ago, it was about a different situation. But then it got the situation, a new situation, doubled down on that situation. So, you know, it's a thing that professionals, and then just thinking as if you're a professional out there, you know, it's like you're trying to sell something that people don't know how to buy. Going back to the value thing, they don't know how to value it because they don't quite understand what's happening. So that, I think that's a topic to say, like, what do we need to do to educate the marketplace? Now, some people are going to be ignorant. I can't do nothing about that. They're just ignorant. Some people are educated but ain't that smart. Nothing I can do about that. So, you know, I yield on that. I ain't done neither, but I'll yield on that.
I think the approach of a lesson here is really just about. I got this theory, and I'm a reverse engineer it, right? So it's like you get to me before I get to you, but I'm going to get to you before you get to me. And so what that means is we're making sure that we have the proper breadcrumbs that people can follow. Always making sure the breadcrumbs are there. Always making sure the gaps are closed up, because these instances that we go through in business is really just to shore up, you know, like I said, shore up those gaps. Are our gaps actually shored up? Are we actually being very proactive? Are we really putting the no, I think when you put the no nonsense or the non-negotiables on the table, it relieves people of the opportunity to move goalposts any which way they want down the road. Some will try, but I mean, you can try, but you may not be able to move it. So if we start moving with, because we're already intentional, right? But the absolute non-negotiables, put that down, right? Make sure that that is very much communicated, especially in professional services where a lot of the times the roles can be misconstrued based off of what people think that they know. And then the lines can be blurred based off of the scope of the work. Assumptions can be made. Now, people always come in, it's like going to the grocery store. You say you're going to the grocery store to buy one thing and you leave out with half a shopping cart with some things, right? There's always room for more to go in the cart unless you're carrying a basket. Then you can only put what you can put in the basket, right? And so I think that that's the approach that we need to do, even to the point where we have shopping carts where you got to put a quarter in that joint. Everybody may not have a quarter in their pocket, but if they need the shopping cart, they're going to go get a quarter, right? That's a non-negotiable. You can't have a shopping cart without a quarter in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, there you go.
Right? So I think it always, for me, it always boils down to me questioning myself and say, okay, how did I approach this situation? Where do I need to shore up and tighten up some things? Put my identify if my non-negotiables are glaring enough that they don't miss it, and so I can move on to the next situation appropriately. And so, that's where I go with it.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
It's because it's a conversation for the people, man.
I know it's no, but I'm getting it. But I will just say that you are good in that. That's what I'm saying. All of us aren't good on that, but it's something that you want to work on.
Yeah, I had to get there, but I see it because I know my value. I know what I bring to the table. I'm like James Bond. I always got a clean white shirt in the back of the vehicle.
That's saying that's why you are double O core. That's you. See, this is my man said. This one I'm on right here. That's more like what I'm on. So if you know that quote, you know what I'm on. So, but it's not productive to do that. But when you're dealing with ignorant suckers, I mean, sometimes it's just it happens.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you definitely got to do a little damage control.
Yeah. So
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it is. But it's a real thing because also too, I would say that it's anything that you professional services, you know what I'm saying, like anything that you do, there's an era of being it personal for you, like so, like in accounting or tax prep. Even though the relationship is kind of twisted, the consumers and for the whole don't really get. And I got friends, they talk about taxes. They don't really get the process. A lot of taxpayers just believe like it's their taxes are our responsibility. But actually, we're there to assist you in reporting your taxable income to the government so that you could pay them. And just that variation, it changes because people think if they get audited, they auditing us. Well, no, absolutely not. They're auditing you. And so, people don't, so they don't know what you do. And, I mean, it's just like, say you're a wig maker, right? And and you make a wig and the wig looks wonderful on the mannequin, but you put it on the person and it doesn't improve how they look. And they get mad at you. How you deal with that?
Well, that's a touchy situation right there. Only because I've worked with 3 business owners to help them develop and start their businesses, and they made wigs, and the wigs that they were making were for cancer patients. So I wouldn't use that one.
That's different. I ain't talking about
you,
that. I was just saying an example. You know, but a hairdresser is a better one too.
Okay, there we go.
When you got a hairdresser, you know, you work on a style, somebody brings in a picture, or a barber, I want this, but their hair consistency or something doesn't facilitate you being able to get it, just like the picture.
Like
you do it to the you do it to the best of your ability,
right?
And then they trash you and tell you that you don't know what you're doing, you don't know how to do hair, all this, but yet you came to me to get your hair done.
Well, I mean, I know that's a self-inflicted pain that they have on their end. That's not necessarily me. They're just projecting it at me, using me as a punch, or using that person, that barber, as a punching bag, right? And so it's for you to evaluate it, and you know, you got to lead them through out of that tunnel, out of your business, out of your door.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying. Now, but that's my point. It's like you that's what I said, you're good. You know, you have worked through the trial to be able to handle that. But everybody doesn't have that. But it's something we all need to aspire to be able to have that cool. You know,
I have my days, bro. But
no, I know. But you've gone through the fire, so you have it, so you understand how to see. Your mind is set for that, because that's like you. I think, well, you know, we talk about it. You know, the smoke for you is like recreation.
I mean, because I like, because you know, all right, I mean,
it's recreation for you. It is like, it just is. You like enjoy it, like I'm like that. So you have a skill that can facilitate that. A lot of us do not. So,
right. So we here trying to educate the people that's listening.
Yeah, and ourselves, you know.
Yeah. Hopefully get a good seed that'll help them, you know.
But I'm just saying, you know, back to the wig makers, sometimes the problem isn't the wig.
Yeah.
It's the user's sometimes it don't matter what you put on, it still ain't gonna look right. So anyway, oh boy. I'm just saying. I'm not saying anything, but I'm just saying. So anyhow, back to we want to educate. So that's what we talked about that. And I didn't even jump on the other folks. But my other thing, you know what? The main thing, it's really about communication. And I think the ability to communicate is becoming a lost art among folks through technology. Technology is causing us to have to get lax in communication, and especially to communicate in an even, you know, like well, you get to me, humanity is starting to get reduced through a lot of whatever. I mean, for whatever reason, we're becoming less humane as technology grows. So often we run into things where people are not cognizant of other people, and they think they're gonna, you know, they just not cognizant, you know. I mean, you know, for instance, you know, and just general courtesy, you know, for instance, you know, like most people, if you're doing business, you know that pretty much by after December 15th, I mean, you're not going to get much action going on in professional services. If you've ever used it before, you're not going to get much action after that. So, but, you know, some people like to request things on Christmas Eve, expecting a response. I don't know what planet they're from. I have no idea. Like, even if you don't observe Christmas, the rest of the world understands things aren't happening. But but you find out the rules of communication. So, it's just people that have that, and I think there's just a lack of consideration, because what's happened is that people I know myself and some of my crew, we are empathetic, and we look at the other person's point of view. I have to tell you, I've graduated from that now. I'll move from that. It's because to try to get humanity and understanding everything back, you have to look out for yourself, and you have to say, look, you have to stand your ground. I ain't mean to say that because that means something else, but you have to stick to your guns. I don't know if that's even better, but you have to be able to set a policy and say, look, hey, we're not doing business at, December 1st. Don't expect any deliverables from us after December 1st. Just don't expect them. And I think it's almost like you almost have to say everything now, because the things that used to be common, and that might be more of it. Common sense is becoming out of here.
No, it's not really common sense. It's
common courtesy.
Well, technology is making it. The word is convenience, and is making people conveniently shut down thinking, because life is a thinking person's game. Life is both tangible and intangible, right, aspects. And so, to your common sense statement, you would think that, okay, now, on one hand, someone may have a sense of urgency, and they're pushing through, sending messages or looking for information in a time where there's observations and people are taking their time off, right? Then you would think that they would intangibly understand that and follow suit and follow through. Still send your information, because technology allows you to send it, and so it can sit somewhere so somebody can see it. We can flag it, communicate it, get it back out in appropriate time as needed, without any default, without any negativity, without any threatening, without any kind of thing. So there's a lack of that in place, which removes some of the understanding, the understanding, and the empathy that people should have, especially when you need assistance from a company, professional services or whatever have you, right? And so, so technology is making people lazy, is removing their ability to be in control, and a lot of people don't understand the programming that goes behind it, right? I won't get into the weird science of it all, but I say that reading and writing is still a fundamental thing, right? It keeps you in the game. It keeps you ahead of being, dissolved into brain waves of nonsense, if you will. So reading and writing, having physical pens and paper, writing things out is still a very productive activity that keeps you sharp.
Well, it's becoming a talent now, because people don't do it. So now it makes a separator. It makes a, like, basically, I think personally, my thing is that technology is intentionally creating zombies. I mean, that's what's going on. So once you start, in zombie movies, people are brain dead. Essentially, the creatures are brain dead. That's what they are. They don't die physically, but they brain. So they go with animalistic, like basic impulses. So is that really different than what's happening now? Like, people are becoming brain dead, so they can't rational thought, common sense, humility, graciousness, things like that are decreasing. So
neuroscience, that's what people need to study.
Oh, come
neuroscience.
On. Yeah, they need to study that, but they, and I think that's what's happening, is that it's making it so that basic things will become the talents and become the power structure. Because, you know, in the land of the blind, the man with one eye is the king. So if everybody else becomes,
I like that right there. That was smart.
yeah, if they become lesser, you can stay average, which is kind of the American story, but that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother podcast. But
really,
you can stay average and dominate. That's it. Because if the knowledge that's available was out to people and people started synthesizing knowledge and started putting two and two together, it's very difficult to control them. So, you know what I'll do? I'll give you a 70-inch TV for $200. So you can consume all types of stuff to take you that you're not going to start seeing. You're not going to see what it is. So that's kind of what was happening. But now this is infecting people that are supposed to be leaders and then getting down to it. And small business, you have a small business, you're a leader. You know, you're leading a community. If you have clients or customers, you're a leader. You're looked at as a leader. Whenever somebody says I'm a business owner or I own a business, people put a different lens to you. Just the way it is. You know, you might suck, but they still put the lens to you. So if you're a zombie leader, you know, what do you have to offer? You a zombie, you get what you leading. You leading the rest of the zombies. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, and this is more about leadership. It's more about understanding. And to lead, if you're leading people, you have to understand people to the best of your ability. You have to be able to work with a lot of different people. You have to work with different people in different states of their life, where they are. It's not all about you.
Yeah, those call those soft skills. Yeah,
but see, that's what I'm saying. You can't summarize stuff no more because the people just they don't know what it is. You got to be like, Google, hey, dodo bird.
They can Google that. Soft skills.
Google. That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. Everybody, so like they're clearly not Googling anything. They're Googling, you know, cat videos and information about Diddy or something. But they're not Googling. They're not doing anything. You got Alexa, they talk to Alexa. Alexa does everything for you. You know, it's like but it's by design, people. What I always say is The Matrix is one of the greatest movies ever made. Because the concept is perfect. To my knowledge, all our knowledge is we don't have something jammed in the back of the head, and we don't know. But that's the beauty of the movie. But it's happening. People just want a red pill, blue pill. People are just like, I'll stay over here and just do my little thing and make my little kingdom and be the person in my little situation. And find people that only bow down to me, and I'll be safe. I'll be fine. They don't even push out of bounds to challenge themselves to deal with somebody that's not like them. But yet they think they boss. They think they're leaders. Can't talk to anybody. And you know what happens when you can't talk to anybody? You end up talking to yourself because you're the only person that listens to you. Very ignorant. But I'm just saying, it's how it is. So it's a case of leadership, man. For me, it's a year of leadership. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that goes without question, but people identify leadership in different kind. If you call yourself a leader, then you need to. I don't think that's authentic when you call yourself a leader. I think it comes through with your behavior and what you think, what you understand about leading people or leading a situation or initiative. And so I think that word is very loosely used these days, as well as misunderstood, because you're basically asking someone Oh,
got
tell
the
them,
dogs ready.
yeah, you know, I got my
Got
body.
them ready. Got them ready.
Ready. She ready to go.
She ready to go look for the suckers. That's what's going on over there.
But the word lead people is to take away something and put and give them something else to believe in. Right? Yeah. We can break it down simply to animals, dogs. You put a collar on them and a leash, and you lead them away from behavior of not listening and chasing after people and animals in the community because you want them to behave. So you're minimizing or you're taking away their natural instinct to obey human behavior. So it's the same when it comes to people. So how are you? Are you really a leader? How are you really leading? Yeah, man, we can talk all day about that stuff.
Well, it came from that because I think in the challenge of people, you know, with the professional terrorism, there's an element of leadership in trying to deal with that. And what I say to it is that there's leaders and there's leadership. Everybody doesn't have to be anointed a leader in order to show leadership. And that's the part that is disappointing to me with a lot of folks, that they don't want to show leadership. They don't, you know, people have put leadership is for leaders. and that's the issue. You know, and everybody has the opportunity to lead everywhere in their life. And people get labeled or annoyed, whatever you want to call it, as leaders, and they really aren't able to lead. And because one of the bases of leadership is around respect. Now, leading by fear is not going to happen as much nowadays, to me anyway. And that's not real leadership. That's authoritarianism. Sounds familiar, right? But yeah. So, yeah, but what, you know.
So to your point, the leadership, the full word is ship, the root of the ship in anything. Leadership, relationship, ownership is the state of, the role, or the condition of something. You know what I'm saying? This state of being.
And it's a verb. It's not a description. It's a verb. Absolutely. There's an action behind it. So you have to do it. But
take him to class, cuz. Take him to class.
Yeah, it's an action behind it. Yeah. So you're using the same thing: ownership, leadership, you know, friendship. Those are actions. There's verbs behind those words. So when you get people that are leaders, so-called leaders, and you know, they don't exhibit leadership, because you could be a leader and not exhibit leadership.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. For me, more forth, you a sucker. So that's it. I don't care what your title is. I don't care what someone told you are. A sucker. And that's all, like, straight up. Like, it's what it is.
Yeah, just look in the camera while you say it.
Yeah, no doubt. In case it gets to the right place. Sucker. You know, we PG over here. You're a sucker. And I don't respect the suckers that do that at all, because it takes, you know, what it does is it takes it, you know, you minimize other people when you're like that. And that's, I think, is too much of that. It's too much in this world that we minimize other people. And then what it's doing is making it this feeling that there aren't as many good people in the world as they are.
But there is, though.
No, I know, but it's the feeling. That is like what I said about, I said about the holidays. Like, it felt like, speaking of leader suckers, the holidays were great, you know, from my standpoint, you know, was great. But the overall feeling was, I felt like a lot of people went through the motions, because the feeling out here is not hopeful. It's not, just generally speaking, people, you can tell people don't feel hopeful. They feel it's benign. Okay, everything will be whatever. We don't know. Some people are afraid, and some people are but people are kind of blah like that.
Yeah, true.
So it's different to be jolly. Hey, aside from the fact that it went from 70 degrees to 20 degrees to 40 degrees, that's where we are. That's the different story. But the hope factor, and one thing leaders showing leadership can do is inspire hope. Whatever the hope will be. Hope we be able to eat dinner tonight. Whatever it is inspiring hope. And in order to inspire hope, you have to have faith. And you don't have any faith.
Come on now.
What are you doing? So what you do is you become a bully to try to turn people and get everybody to follow behind you, but you don't have no faith. You don't have nowhere to take nobody. You don't, why would people follow you? And it's going to show eventually. It's going to show. And it shows. It shows. Some people it shows. And you say, oh. And my main thing is just like, it's understanding. We come across these people in business. If you're at a retail store or a restaurant, is a shorter term transactional relationship. If somebody try to get over on some sneakers, they don't want to pay tax, whatever. You take the sneakers back, get out the store. See you. Get out of here. Somebody try to steal from you, don't ever come back in here again. You may deal with something with them in the back. I mean, that's up to you. You deal with it. You're out of here. But when you deal with personal services, I won't even say professional, anything personal. And the thing about this business we're in, it's very personal because especially when we but small businesses, we go to taxes. I mean, it's personal. There's a certain level of unspoken trust that occurs, and there's a certain level of unspoken responsibility. Unfortunately, the client often doesn't assume the responsibility that they should have. So they push it back on you. And then when you look at them for what their role is supposed to be or who they are, it doesn't match up. How someone acts doesn't match up to the title. So I think I'm just tired of it. just point blank, I'm tired of it. And I'm just not tolerating it. All right, because that's not how I get down. And it's not about, why does someone be called to have this title, whatever? Because we've just established the title doesn't mean anything. You take a homeless man and put him in a $3,000 suit with no home, he's still homeless, right? Don't matter. So, and that's what we have this social media world where everybody's putting on a $3,000 suit. And they sitting in the same $10 sweatpants I got from Walmart. Mm-hmm. In reality, in their brains, forget about it.
Right.
Their brains, I told somebody the other day, I said, look, when I was in the call, I said, look, I spoke to somebody in UK, and they were talking, they were complaining, whatever. I said, well, at least your king, there was a structure to get it. Our king got his crown from a Cracker Jack box. We got Cracker Jack King. So this people playing too much, and I'm not playing no more. So now this I ain't trying to turn to the great. I'm just saying that we have to understand that everybody can show leadership. Very simple. Trash on the ground on something that you own or something, whatever. Go pick up the trash. Don't point out the so-called leader. Hey, there's trash on the ground. Just go get it. So, leadership. I took the charge on that. I went and did it. And no, but those, most people that would listen and this would resonate with are like that. But we are dealing with a case where we're dealing with people that aren't like that, but they have the veneer, the veneer that they are. And sometimes you end up in business with them. And then sometimes you pull the veneer back and you're like, oh my God. So, and then you Because people have challenges, and I understand your challenge. You might have a personal challenge. You might have a stressful challenge, family challenge. You might have an aesthetic challenge. But none of your challenges makes it so that you can disregard people that put effort into what they do and care about what they do, and quite frankly, know more than you. So, you gotta get your mind right, all right? So that's all I'm saying, like that. And that's not for any of our viewers. Our viewers are the people. It's the people. But I'm just saying that, listen, they out here, and we have to be stronger and together and identify it, call it out. We have to call it out because I'm gonna speak totally frank. And we talk a lot about business. We identify with Black businesses, obviously, right? And the state of Black business is interesting, very interesting. And there's small things and dynamics in our ecosystem that have to be dealt with and got to be real about. One of them is respect. We got to deal with it. So don't come around to me on Black Business Sunday, whatever, and come and do that. Like, Black folks shouldn't be celebrating days like that. It should be every day. Like, you need a special day for that if you Black. Like, I don't understand that. We got to do better. I got to do better. But I'll tell you one thing, I'm not going to do better with no suckers. That ain't happening. So, but we got to figure stuff out, man. Because it ain't right out here. And so all you single owner CEOs, I mean, at minimum, if you're gonna be the chief and that means you playing all the other roles, so you better start leading yourself better. And you better learn how to talk to people. And you better learn a lot. So I'm just saying, that's all. That's how I synthesize. But it is, just telling you, man. Because over here, it's not going to be like that no more. I'm just saying, like, dude, obviously, we're not Thug Nation over here or something, but it's just that we already have talked about protocols and things to kind of set our mark with clients. And then we suggest if you out here doing business and you got people playing with you and they your friends until your bill come or stuff like that, or they make a mistake and try to put it back on you, or they want to shift all the blame on you just because they're paying you some dollar amount. You have got to stand your ground and set your process and your policy. And look, if you got hope, you might lose the money, but you're going to get it back tenfold from a much better person, much better fit for your business. And so with that, I yield. That's it.
Family, your blessings. That's
cool stuff, man.
That's it. It was a good talk, man. It was a good way for you to get it off your chest.
Yeah, well, it's all year. I'm on site, son. I'm still laughing through it all, man. You'll say it was still like,
To that note, we in January 2020.
Let's talk about biz therapy. Talk about biz therapy, yo. Let's just talk about biz therapy.
Yeah, biz therapy is doing really well for those that are not included in a biz therapy workshop. It's going very well. It creates a foundation of understanding and understanding, overstanding to everstanding within the people, to keep it simple. If you're cloudy, you're unsure, you're indecisive, and do not know what to do, and you're overwhelmed with your dailies to get you to your weekly goals, to your monthly goals, to your quarterly achievements, and to your annual growth, check us out, biztherapycoaching.com, BIZ therapycoaching.com. We talk about the practicalities of being a business owner, the headaches, the nervousness, the anxiety, technology, whether you tech adverse or not. How do I become techie? How do I understand technology without losing who I am authentically and what I provide? There's steps for that. There's systems for that. There's a process for that. It's just as simple as you getting up out of the bed, putting your 2 feet on the floor to get up to go to the bathroom to get ready for your day. It's simple. It's all in how you think about things and how you place your effort moving forward. So check out Biz Therapy, man. We 22.
I got interview questions for you though.
Yeah, go ahead, shoot.
Well, let's talk about how, someone who either is thinking about starting a business or just started, they got their credentials, the EIN, the LLC. What role would biz therapy play in that scenario?
Well, you need to understand the organization of, because you might be good at what you do, but how do you set up your infrastructure? What is your infrastructure? What is your operations? Right? What is your plan? Let's start there. Most people don't even have a plan. They have an idea and a thought and a feeling. And they might write something down. Oh, yeah, I have a plan. I wrote it down when last time I took it off the shelf. Hold on, let me get it and see how much dust is on top of it. Right. So biz therapy comes in to help people from the ground, starting, right? Where do you start? How do you start? And there's fundamentals to starting, to maintaining, and the growing that flows through all levels of business. So we'll walk with you and we'll work with you and we'll talk with you and give you some good guidance and implementation. Simple steps so you can understand what those are. Because once you have those pillars in place, then you can continuously grow your business to where you want it to grow. But it's really, I think it's a mindset shift approach, and it's the guidance to the mindset shift. And to have these certain pillars in place, as I said, it goes through all different levels of business. When you have that, it makes it a lot easier for you to pivot, because pivoting is a word that you got to get comfortable with, and being adept, right, is another word that you got to be comfortable with. So what does that mean? You might have a service, or let's go with bootstrapping. You might be bootstrapping your own pocket, your own funding, your own hunting of opportunities and new customers and new clients. A particular service that may not work after you go through your proof of concept. So you got to pivot it a little bit, right? Or maybe your messaging needs to pivot, or the product got to pivot. Maybe the relationships got to pivot. Maybe your team structure has to pivot. So you got to be able to pivot and be able to lead that charge, because being a business owner is not really, you're no longer an order taker. You are a creator. You are creating something that resonates with the personal brand of yourself, and you're putting it into a professional brand. It doesn't matter if it's one of 1,000. What makes you unique? What makes your delivery? What makes your connection with people unique? Uniqueness brings authenticity. Authenticity brings value. But you could place value on what you do, but other people don't understand what that value is. So how do you set those pillars, understanding the pillars and setting pillars for people to receive the value? And so that's where, again, biz therapy covers a lot of different facets of support, different facets of a space where you can talk things through, a space where you can realize who you are, because you go through an awakening process almost every single day in small increments, but you have moments where there's an impact. It's almost like 4th of July. You're like, wow, look at those fireworks. And they're mental fireworks, they're emotional fireworks, right? And so we all need that kind of a space. We all need those that system. We all need that community, if you will, of I would, most people say like minds, but opposites attract. I would say like goals, like attainment, If you're a business owner, you want to be successful by providing the product and services, and to make your customers' experiences great, then you're equally yoked there, right?
Mhm.
But having opposite minds is also a great thing, and not opposite in combat or disagreement, but opposites in just ways that people think. Because quite frankly, what we lose is our understanding of how we think, or we don't know how we think, because we come from programming, we come from environments, we come from cultures, generational stuff, and it molds us to believe and to think certain ways.
Yeah.
When-
So, well, let
right?
me ask you. Now, I want to ask you one thing
Yeah, go ahead.
on it, and it is short, real short. We could close on this. You mentioned mindset.
Mm-hmm.
The mindset from where to where? What are the 2 points? From what mindset to the other mindset is what we trying to achieve within the biz therapy.
Impossible to I am possible.
Oh, you went you went high end like that. So on that, there's nothing else to be said. There's nothing else to be said. So, biz therapy coaching, we're gonna push it out this year because people need it. Clearly, I mean, they need general therapy too. We need to get a therapist on this show. Talk to people.
Yeah, but you're right. But this has to be a vehicle for therapy, not just because you want to go to. Because a lot, man,
No, you gotta put into it.
you got to have a vehicle for it, though. You can't
Yeah.
just go to somebody and say, I feel like I'm crazy, or I feel targeted, and people are like, yeah, you know what, you are, you're not wrong, and that creates all kinds of different monsters. So having a vehicle for therapy is the most appropriate thing to have.
Yeah, but biz therapy is available to you now.
Yeah, correct.
That's right. So check it out. Check that all out. We're gonna talk about it more this year. We getting ready to be up out of here. Don't forget, subscribe. And like this, if you're watching the replay, give us a thumbs up or like. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, all these other places. Check us out. Heyward-CPA.com if you want to talk taxes. Submit your questions. Podcast at Heyward-CPA for the Ask JCPA series coming through. Biz Therapy Coaching. We did a short infomercial for you there. BizTherapyCoaching.com. Check that out. Get on there. Get on board. Tell a friend. Tell a friend. Check it out. Even if you're not 100% sure, touch bases with Kory. He'll help you understand and then give you some resources off top.
Yeah, if you got any questions, you can shoot an email to info@biztherapy, BIZ therapy. It's info@biztherapy.info.
Yep. So
you can communicate through the website.
That's right. So you do that, and we're gone in 2 weeks. We will be back with another riveting. We entering our next 100 episodes. So once again, man, 100 episodes, dude. Now you got it. Come on, man. You gotta give it up for 100 episodes. Yeah, like come on, man. Yeah, that's consistent. You know.
You know what I mean?
We out, man. We enjoy your Saturday. Do your thing. We chucking up deuce. Peace. Yes, sir. What's going on here? I ain't in yet.